Happy New Year. Happy New Year, but not so happy. We're back, Karma's Crew podcast, Big Ten action going on while we were gone. Hope everyone had a happy New Year and happy holidays, but it's been a tough one for our Buckeyes. This is episode 4. Myself, David Lighty, Aaron Kraft, Adam Jardy. We're getting into our Buckeyes, talking about how it's been looking to start the new year for us. I'll just get into it saying December was great. I predicted that, 6-1. We had one little slip up with Penn State, one that we really should have had that right now, looking back, I wish we really had.
Really hurts.
But starting off the Big Ten season, I should say for this year in January, what have you guys seen so far, starting with the home game? Out at home against Rutgers.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I thought, coming off the Penn State loss and they bounced back well. I don't think they played particularly well against Rutgers, but they found a way to pull it together, found a way to win, and I thought that was going to be a good launching moment for us, kind of get us going in the right direction. I'm glad we didn't have a podcast after that one because I'd be sounding really silly right about now. But, I thought they started off well. We bounced back, thought we were going to go, and then apparently just on the road, we're just not sure what to do.
Struggle.
Yeah, they're in this point now where, like, that Rutgers game, they found a way to close that one out. They found a way to tough that one out, grit that one out, whatever adjective you want to use. And now we're sitting here talking about another 3-game losing streak where in each one of those games they had a lead in the second half, sometimes very late in the second half, and then they're just not making enough plays when they need to close these games out. And I feel like there's a lot of different things we can point to. I'm really, really curious to hear what you guys think about what you're seeing in some of these moments, because it's clear that, to me, that they have the toughness that you need to fight in the Big Ten, but they don't. It seems like they're missing a gear that they need to then close it out, because sitting there in Chrysler Center today, they're down 12 in the second half, and you're thinking it's over. And they put together a 16-0 run.
That's exactly what I thought.
Yeah, and they put together a 16-0 run on the road and just seize control of that game, and then they come up short. And at Indiana, it was sort of the same deal. They were down, I think, 10. They cut it to 2 in the last 2 minutes, and they come up short. Wisconsin, they're up they're up in the second half. They get outscored 19-4 down the stretch, and it just seems to me like this team has an element of toughness to it that enables it to be in position to win these games, but then they're just not winning them. And I don't know. I've looked at a couple different stats, but you guys know what it takes to win these games, and I don't know. What are you seeing? Why are they not able to close some of these games out?
We know you got the stats. You always got the stats for us, for sure. But I think this one is a little bit beyond the stats. The analytics of everything. I think it's kind of, what is it? You tell your child, don't touch the stove, it's hot. Don't touch the stove, it's hot. And what do? They touch the stove. We kind of had this cycle going early in December, even with, UCLA game, the West Virginia game. We weren't closing out strong. It's games that we won, but we weren't finishing like we needed to. And, taking control and taking command. We gave teams hope. And I think that kind of stuck with us as we got into, 2024, even with the Rutgers game. Like you said, it was the same type of thing. And now you start the Big Ten, where the real punches start. You're on the road, you're in Indiana, and, they kind of hit us in the mouth. And we couldn't respond the last 2 or 3 minutes of the game. But that's one that you thought you would kind of learn from. I wouldn't want to talk about last year, of course, but from last year with those type of things that was going on, with the team. But, this is the moment where it all went to shit. It all went to hell last year. So for me, this is the mindset that those sophomores know. We went through this last year. We have to be mentally tough. It's not about X's and O's. It's not about what coach is going to say to us. It's what you're going to do out there on that court and who's going to want it more, because we know in the Big Ten, no game is given.
Yeah. I think just at least, I think the last couple of times we found a way to get close, and then it almost – people just look a little tighter than they do the rest of the game. It's almost like that they're overthinking a little bit, or they're just – it's maybe they are thinking about all the games in the past. They're thinking about last year or whatever it may be. It just seems like everyone's kind of hoping that the next play is going to be made instead of just going out and playing and making that play. And in particular today, we go on that big run, and then I think instead of like really trying to close it out, we kind of exhaled a little bit. We said, okay, we made it back. We got a 2 point.
I think we're good. Yeah.
Yes. And then instead of just kind of putting the final dagger in, we just let it linger. And then defensively, we just weren't tough enough down the stretch. We gave up dribble drives. We gave up easy passes, wide open shots,
open shots.
Yeah, those kind of things that you just can't do. You have to, in those moments, it's offensively it is what it is, but defensively you can come together and figure out like, hey, we need 3 more stops. Like we need to put the nail in the coffin here, and we don't have that. We're not doing that. And again, it's not an X's and O's thing with that. I think it's coming together, and like Dave said, finding a way to be mentally tough to take the next step, because if this continues, it's hard not to think about everything that happened in the past and completely put that away.
That weight it's getting heavier and heavier.
It's there, but if you look at our schedule kind of moving forward, I know we have some road games, which I don't remember the last time we run on the road, but
it's scary.
But they're winnable games. I think they're games that we can be in it and we can figure some things out, but we're gonna need to take that next step for sure.
What do you guys think about this? Because I asked Felix Okpara after the game, like, what is the difference in those final moments? Like, what is it that you guys don't have to close a game out? And I asked him just about that toughness. Like, do you need an extra level that guys maybe don't have? And the quote that he gave was, he said, I would say we just need to reach that next level, playing tougher. He said, we're tired. When our body's hurting in the last 2-3 minutes of the game, we've got to take that next step. We do it in practice every day. We've got to keep going hard when we're tired. So Holtman kind of pushed back on that a little bit, like the notion that like guys are too worn out at the end of games. But I am wondering a little bit if I wrote about this going into the Michigan game, like if the fact this team doesn't really have much of a bench that it's relied on. And they got some production in this game. Like Devin Royal had 7 points at the half. Dale Bonner scored and was effective in that. Like when they had that run the second half, he was big in that run. I felt like they got some contributions from some guys, but I do wonder a little bit if all the talk we've had about Bruce and Roddy and Jamison, if they've been too reliant on those 3 and they're kind of behind in developing some other guys.
Oh, I would say for sure. I mean, we know who's going to be asked to do the most. We know who's going to be asked to carry, the bulk of scoring for the team. And, it's coming from those 3 guys. Today they struggled shooting a little bit, but I think it kind of touches back to what Kraft was saying. We can't let what's happening on offense predict our defense, and I think that's where we're kind of slowing down. The guys not making shots. We see guys missing free throws down the stretch that they normally, don't do. And I think that kind of lingers in their head, lingers in their mind, like, oh my goodness, another miss. But it has to be the opposite. It has to be, okay, we're going to get a stop then. We have to take pride in that one. And I think that's where we're kind of going to the left a little bit in terms of the offense. But missing shots as well. We're not shooting good from 3.
That was the next thing I wanted. I wanted to ask you guys.
Yeah, that for sure. Clogs the paint up. Now you can't get your mid-range game on. You can't throw it down to Zed. When he's in the game. So I think those things right now are kind of weighing on us. But I mean, it's up to the guys to find a way. Like we said, there's never an excuse. You got to find a way for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and we're the people being tired and fatigued at the end of a game I think is bogus.
I mean, like
we played with 6 or 7 people. So
Dave, you played
37 minutes.
You know what I mean? Like
37 minutes a game.
That it's, and I know they worked hard in the offseason. I know they're in shape. So from a physical standpoint, I think they have what it takes. It's a mental thing right now. And I think another thing that is worth considering, if you look at the team, there's no one on it that's won at a high level in the Big Ten. Like, not one of those guys has had sustained success in a Big Ten season. So for whatever that's worth, I think experience can be blown out of proportion, but I think it helps. If you've won a few games, it calms you down the stretch, and you think, like, I've won this game. I've been in a worse arena. I've been in a worse situation, and we found a way to win. So I think that plays into it too.
I've had the stat ready to go. The Jamison Battle needs one more win to tie his most wins ever in a season. And
holy,
wow! Hold on. You just a season or just Big Ten?
In a season? Yeah, he had 13 wins one season with Minnesota, but otherwise he played on two really tough George Washington teams, and then he had 12 in his first season at Minnesota and 13 last year. So I do wonder about that. And, honestly, the guy that's probably had the most, Evan Mahaffey, playing on that Penn State team last year.
So
you think about, that was a really good team, and he didn't have a big role, but they went to the tournament, won a game. But I want to get back to something you said, Dave, about the shooting, because I think this is still a decent shooting team. I think we're seeing maybe they're not as good as numbers had indicated for the first 10, 12 games or whatever. But in this losing streak, Ohio State's 16 of 70 from three. So that's 22.9%. Jamison Battle has made 10 of those 16 threes.
He's been only one.
Bruce is 3 for 19. Roddy hasn't made a three in this losing streak. He's 0 for 12. And I was thinking about this on that long, dark drive back from Ann Arbor tonight.
You went through Findlay, Ohio, though. Flag City, baby.
Went through Findlay and went through Northwood, so I hit both our hometowns. But it got me thinking, like, if it's as simple as, like, I don't think this team's a 20% three-point shooting team. But they're probably not a 45 or whatever they were shooting before this slide. But this team's at least like a 30, 33% three-point shooting team. And I feel like they've gotten good looks a lot of times in these losses. And maybe you say, all right, well, you've missed your first five. Don't shoot the sixth one. But is it the difference between this team on a 3-game losing streak and this team maybe having won 2 of those 3 is that they shoot 30% from 3 instead of 20? Like, is it really that? Are they that close, do you think?
I would say so for sure. I mean, when we're scoring the 3-game losing streak, we score 65, 60, and 65. I know the Big Ten is slow, but it's not that slow, especially now. We were at home playing pretty solid versus Wisconsin, and then we just got cold for some reason, at the end. And today with Michigan, I think we were like 2 for 14 or something like that, 2 for 12 at one point from the 3-point line.
3 of 25 for the game.
3 of 25 for the
12%.
game. Like, on the road or at home, you're going to struggle with that one no matter what. But we look at the other side, we're actually giving up threes as well, especially Michigan closing out the game today. So we have to combat that somewhere and find a balance of, at least locking up the 3-point line if we're not making shots.
Yeah, and if you're missing threes, those are longer rebounds. Those are more possessions in transition for the other team, and that makes it harder on the defense too. So, if you make a couple more, the game's a little slower. You can set up in the half court. So I think that definitely matters. And I'm definitely not the guy to be talking to about missing shots and continuing to shoot and those things. But complete honesty,
we need Sully. They just need Sully.
Yeah, but like, at the end of the day, I think for the most part we're getting good shots. I think there are times where we take bad ones if there's like, one pass or 2 passes and we kind of force one up. And I think what makes some of those shots worse is they're just in bad situations. It almost seems like if we get down 7 or 8, we think we can hit a shot. Ball, yeah, it's like a it's
this a 5 this one's gonna hurt. It's gonna help us.
Instead of kind of working the offense, let's move the ball side to side. I think those shots look worse because they're coming at those situations. But at the end of the day, we need those 3 guys. We need Bruce and Roddy obviously to find a little bit more confidence and make some shots, and obviously Jamison. But some guys off the bench is always going to help. Dale's a good enough shooter to contribute and make shots for us, but I think when he's playing, most of the time he's kind of in that distributor role. He's like kind of trying to create for everyone else, so that kind of gets him off his spot a little bit.
Dave, you said they need Sully in there.
Every team needs Sully.
Not wrong.
That helps for
sure. I've thought that a couple of times this season that they're not featuring the big men in any appreciable way on this team. They're not posting Zed. They're not. I thought Felix he's maybe taken a little step these last couple of games, and he's called for the ball a few times.
He's been balling. He's been a beast on the rebound.
Yeah, he's certainly.
I've been liking what Felix is doing.
He's certainly been doing that stuff. But I feel like, maybe in some of these moments where things are going sideways for them, I wonder about why they don't just get the ball to Zed on the block and let him do something. It seems like he's still playing, but they're not. I don't know what they want him doing right now, other than I guess theoretically rebounding. Like, he had 1 point today, and he had 4 points the last time out. Like, it doesn't seem like they're asking him to contribute. Like, I feel like, am I wrong in thinking that, like, if they fed the post just 3 times a game, that would maybe help when these shots aren't falling?
Oh, for sure. I mean, you don't want to say the old school basketball, but that's old school basketball. I mean, it's besides the analytics, like they always say. Feeding the post gives you so much more. It gives you so many different looks. It gives you the defense so much more pressure. Everyone has to collapse. Everyone, is rotating, turning their heads. Now maybe you can get back cuts or set some screens to get screen away. Off the screen threes, staggers, things like this. But if you're not given that look at all, it's making it easier for the defense to set up against us, for sure. So, I mean, we can't say, what it is or how they can just say, okay, we're going to give them the ball more, or, if that's the strategy. We know it's been the three-headed snake right now. But, I mean, we need more options. We need guys off the bench to score. I think we need that juice, that swagger. I don't think we have that right now. That we had a bounce and a pep in our step, maybe a month ago when we looked at the games and, watched the ball move from side to side, everyone being involved. And now it's getting a little static, like you said, when at crucial times when we don't need that.
I think another challenge for Zed too is, I think they've been playing Zed and Felix together more, and I'm not sure how confident they are spacing wise with 2 bigs like that.
With both of them, yeah.
I mean, Zed has spaced it some and has obviously shown that he can shoot if he's open, but our spacing doesn't look great a lot of the time. And I think part of it is you have 2 bigs that have only played the 5, and obviously Felix hasn't played basketball super long in and of itself in general. So when you got 2 bigs that you normally try and occupy the same space, they're trying to figure out how to move and get people in the right spot. I think that clogs everything up too, which makes it hard on guards. So if we can figure out a way, just to make it more simple and throw it into Zed and just have Felix on the backside, he could set screens, or he could just be on the baseline to go if there's a double, he can go get offensive rebounds, something like that. But in the flow, if it's just like kind of a flow, we're not calling a play with those 2 in, it looks a little funny because I just don't think they've had enough experience doing that.
For sure. But, I mean, we're going to see. We're going to see.
We have another noon game coming up, so.
Yeah, we got a rematch coming up. Finish out this week. They got the game against Penn State, which I think, like I said before, we let one go. So we definitely, if we want to be an NCAA tournament team and finish in the top half of the Big Ten, this is where we need to start. I think those 2 games on the road scare me.
Yeah.
Nebraska, we know what they can do, and Northwestern, at home and with the senior letting guard. I'm nervous. I'm just gonna say that much right now. If we don't win this
Penn State Illinois
game
at home,
and we go on a road,
yeah,
then we come back with Illinois to close the month of January out. So I say these next 4 games, we at least got to go two out of 2 to give ourselves a chance to really get into the tournament and be in the top half of the Big Ten.
That's hands, Dave. We got to win 2 out of 3, not 2 of 2.
2 out of 4. That's what I meant.
Okay.
2 out of 4.
Okay.
There's 4 games left. See, not even 3. You almost got me, but it happens.
Fair. No, I agree.
2 and 2. We got to go 2 and 2. That's what I meant.
If anything, this is a game where we should feel confident going into. Even though we've lost 3 in a row, and Penn State we've lost 2, but man, we were in control of that game the entire time.
Up 16.
Like we were cruising, 18. And it took them making some really tough shots down the stretch and us kind of going cold again. But as hard as it may be, I'm just hoping this is a game where we can have some confidence and get something rolling. And then, like you said, figure out some toughness on the road, because I don't remember the last time we did that. We won on the road. Adam?
It was New Year's Day last year at Northwestern.
So it's been over a year.
It's been a year and 14 days.
Wow. New Year's Day.
Yeah.
Northwestern.
And they dominated Northwestern.
We thought okay, this is it. We're going.
That was
right
the peak.
Yep. And then dun dun dun.
And
then Purdue.
Then they came home and Zed's shoulder popped out, and they lost to Purdue, and it was just all downhill from there. I think they need to find a way to win. I feel like the vibes are not good right now. I mean, I think they're pretty good internally. Like I don't get the sense from like talking to players and talking to Holtman and talking to people around the program that like this team thinks it's over, and that I think they all recognize that there's, as crazy as it sounds, like there's still 14 Big Ten games left. Like there is still plenty of time, and there are lots of teams that lose 3 games in the middle of a season. It's about how you're playing later, but like you can't bury yourself early like they did last year. And the way they went through the struggles last year, it feels like they don't have the benefit of the doubt right now. Like they need to start showing that they've learned from some of those lessons from last year. And I think you've had some opportunities to do that. Like Indiana was a very winnable game. That's a beatable Indiana team. And I know you're playing them there on a Saturday night, but like that felt like a game that like a top whatever Big Ten team finds a way to win that game, and they come up short. And I mean, this Michigan team had lost 5 straight.
Dude, and they're bad. I'm sorry, this team is bad, and we lost. Like, so this one hurt.
Like you look at not only that, but like the circumstances in which they've lost them. I mean, Juwan just letting Phil Martelli coach a game because it was at the Palestra, and his son was on the coaching staff for Penn State. So like Juwan just like, okay, I won't be the head coach, you can be the head coach today. Like that doesn't happen. That's weird. Yeah. And then Dug McDaniel is suspended for road games, but not home games. Like I've never heard of a suspension like that. Like Michigan's going through all these things, and then they come home and they get right by beating Ohio State. And it's like Ohio State just needs to find a way to beat somebody and start earning back some of that benefit of the doubt, because I can tell you from my Twitter mentions, they don't have any of it right now.
No, the respect has been lost very, very quickly, for sure.
I mean, it has to be earned too, though. So I mean, that's normal. That's how life goes. I mean, for me, I try to stay positive. It's opportunity. I mean, it's in their hands. The ball is in their court, as they always say. Opportunity for guys off the bench, for somebody to step up and make things happen. Opportunity for Zed to see if he talks to the guys and say, throw the ball down low a little bit more, and let's, see what happens, or let's keep moving the ball around and see if we can get guys some easy looks, or let's lock in, see if we can get 4 to 5 stops in a row. Those little games within the game is we're going to have to push ourselves and try to stay mentally sharp to, like we just say, find a way to win. If not, some changes are going to have to happen because we can't do this again. We're going to see. This next week is going to be crucial, though. Or these next 2 weeks, I should say, are definitely going to be crucial. But what's your guys' thoughts on finishing out this week for us, or our prediction for our Buckeyes as they keep going?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the best parts about not playing overseas and playing once a week is you get to play twice and you get right back up there and figure out a way to bounce back. So getting to compete and go after it. And like, I think this is a must-win game for us. I think if we don't lose or if we don't win this game, I think it could snowball very quickly. Unless we dig some toughness out of somewhere and find a way to win in 2 tough locations after this. So this is a game where whatever it takes, we just have to do it. I don't care if it's an offensive fest of everyone knocking down shots or if it's a defensive grind it out. We just got to figure out what we want to be about. Like, what is this team going to stand for? And are we going to impose our will in some way? And we just gotta find a way to do it. Otherwise, we're gonna be back here in a week or 2, and we're gonna continue to lick our wounds. And I don't want to do that anymore.
No, we don't got time for that one. We don't got time for that one at all. Sure.
What needs to happen in practice this week? Like, does this team need somebody to start a fight? Like, what needs to take place between
a little bit?
I don't know. You guys have been through this stuff.
Just the sense of urgency, those antennas got to be going off right now. The spidey sensors have to be tingling for sure. I think that's the main thing that, it's in our hands. Try not to worry too much, but don't be naive to the situation for sure.
Yeah, definitely can't just
you can't play the fool. Because we don't want it to snowball effect like you just said.
You definitely don't. I think the worst thing you can do is go in and coast and act like it's okay. We got everything under control. I remember freshman year at Purdue, we were kind of losing the game, and my mentality was always like, every game before this, we kind of figured it out, and we just kind of rode with it. But Dave came in the huddle and was like, "Hey, we got to step this up right now because if not, it's gonna get out of hand." And that was the first time I realized, like, sometimes it's not good to just say, you know what, we'll figure it out.
It's okay.
Like, there are times where you need to really like kind of hone in and lock and be like, hey, we need to take a step forward together in this moment. Otherwise, it's not going to be good. So I think that's kind of where we are. We need to have that heightened sense of urgency for sure.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. I don't know, they murderers. But we're going to give off those good vibes to our Buckeyes. And we appreciate you guys coming back with us for episode 4. Tune in next week. We're going to see how our Buckeyes do. And we're going to come back, and we're probably going to be in the top half of the Big Ten. Some miraculous 4-0 streak is going to start with this Penn State game. And then we won't be worried about this anymore. So we appreciate you guys. Keep tuning in. Send us questions. Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff, all these social media outlets. Appreciate you guys, and Happy New Year's again.